There's so many things that we can take away from Cyril Ramaphosa's visit to the White House, but I want to just say one thing. I believe that we are coming out overall as South Africa following this more at the position of advantage. And just give me a hearing. Now, everyone has their views about what should have been said or what should have been discussed or what should have been asked or whatever the case may be. And the interesting thing is, as we evolved in this age of information, in this age of technology, isn't it interesting to see how wide, um, how widely apart the viewpoints are from different media outlets? Um, and isn't there, doesn't there exist any highly independent and what is the word? Unbiased news coverage network. Doesn't it exist? Because for almost all the media outlets, the news networks that exist today, they will comment on, for example, either extreme left view of whatever or extreme right view. And I must be honest in saying, as much as we don't or haven't trusted them in the past, the most neutral viewpoint of this interaction, I won't even call it an altercation, uh, this interaction, the most neutral viewpoint and reporting were actually given by the SABC. And I'm not a big fan of the SABC, but they were the one outlet that I would say in the media that gave the most unbiased opinions about what happened. For example, let me just give you an example, okay? So, as we know, Fox News in the USA, as well as Sky News Australia, I think they are very right leaning, okay, towards Trump, towards the Republicans. Um, so yeah, they everything that Trump does is right, okay. Then again, if you look at CNN and you look at MSNBC, they are extreme left. You remember in the talk where Trump silenced the one reporter, I think he was from NBC or MSNBC. It's related networks. So Trump immediately quieted him, like he wasn't able to ask any more questions. Um, Even though I sort of agree with the president, with President Trump, that that person was one of those reporters that were asking unrelated crap. Okay, we were waiting long for this visit, for this because on the day when Trump was inaugurated, he mentioned things about South Africa, as if to say it is a priority to deal with South Africa and the issues in South Africa in his presidency. So we all wanted this meeting to take place, and I would say, if not weeks, we were waiting months for this meeting, even before this so-called refugee exodus onto the country. So we waited long. Now for you to come as a reporter and use this opportunity to talk about other crap is disrespectful to me as a South African. Because another reporter could have used that time to ask something more relevant. Okay, so yeah, that guy was quieted, and Trump called him a bad reporter and a bad company and whatever. So my opinion is, I would say I would agree with the coverage from the SABC, is that South Africa went as prepared as what they could have been. Were they prepared for what the media is calling the ambush of the president? No, they weren't. My main disappointment from President Ramaphosa is the fact that when President Trump showed him the road with the white crosses, the first thing he said was, "I don't know where that place is." As if to say, this is the first time that I'm seeing it now. And this is something that has been trending for years, for the last couple of years on social media, locally and internationally. So how can he says, I don't know what it is, and it actually gives the impression to his enemies that he's not interested. So whether or not the whole White Cross issue um, can be debated as to describe the actual amount of white farm murders, he was supposed to know about it, and everything that Donald Trump used is stuff that was already in the media. It's popular, like the Julius Malema videos, those pictures, is stuff that was circulating in the media, and they should have prepared themselves, the entire delegation, especially President Ramaphosa, so that he can be prepared to answer. No, Mr. President, that specific picture you're showing there is about an issue where the Red Cross were burying people in Rwanda, not South Africa, and it has been disproved by this fact-checking agency, etc. Okay, those White Crosses are on this road, and the reason why it is there is for it is not graves, it is just memorial for farmers that were murdered, and this is the facts regarding that. But he said, I don't know where it is, and it is quite disappointing. You know, I always comment about Ronaldo Gous and about what his whole viewpoint and rhetoric. And Ronaldo Gous said he's disappointed at John Steenhuisen because John Steenhuisen would have used this opportunity to expose the ANC in his capacity as an opposition party. Now, I don't think, this is my opinion, that would have benefited for us as a nation. John Steenhuisen knew, even as a DA, how can I say, supporter, or the DA leader rather, that for us to air out our dirty laundry there would not have helped, and it would only have perpetuated the feeling of instability in our country, that we're not able to take care of our affairs. Whereas the delegation that went there told President Trump, this is our problems, we need to work on this, but the issue that you are describing is not like you are saying, it is not white genocide, it is an extreme problem of rampant crime caused by inequality, unemployment, what is the word, opportunism from these people, etc. And as somebody else also mentioned, internationally, the setup of farms in rural areas make it difficult for local police to respond to crimes that happens on farms due to access issues. Okay, yes, it is very, very how some of these crimes are being committed are very, very brutal. Okay, and we need to we need to admit that that it is brutal, and is nothing less than brutal. But the mass murder rate of women by men in this country exceeds that. The mass murder rate of children in this country overall exceeds that, and all other crime. The mass murder rate of gang-related violence exceeds that number. Go look at the police statistics. So what is it telling me? It's telling me that there is a crime problem. I'm not minimizing anybody's individual experience if they were victims, but there isn't a mass slaughter taking place, okay, being organized by the government, directly or indirectly, of exterminating white people. It is not happening. However, crimes of opportunity is happening indeed, And farms is one of the main targets. Yes, the police need to pay more attention to it. There needs to be more organized in order to combat it, and more resources must be given by the government to secure farms. A farmer should not, for argument's sake, 100% pay for his own fencing, or the government must subsidize neighborhood patrols where there's private security companies employed. They should subsidize that because these people are growing our food. We need them. Okay? Everything is a priority in its own right. The rights of farmers for themselves, it is a priority for them and their relatives and the country being dependent on food in its own right. The importance of protecting our children is important in its own right. The importance of protecting our women is important in its own right. And we need to realize that crime is a massive issue, and there's no way to shy away from that. We cannot play politics now. So Ronaldo Gous, I'm sorry that your narrative was not pushed further by John Steenhuisen. It is not the purpose why he was there. And it's not the purpose why Mr. Johan Rupert was there. That man is a dollar billionaire. Okay? He has no benefit in going there except for his love for our country. Apologies. He has no benefit except for the love for the country. The person who did the most babbling there, nonsensical babbling, was Retief Goosen in his American accent. You got the most Afrikaner name and the most Afrikaner surname, yet you have the most American accent. So, yeah, but yet he was the one that Ronaldo Gous gave the most credit to. And Steenhuisen is being viewed as a traitor. Mr. Rupert is being viewed as a traitor. No, Mr. Rupert gave the best explanation. Okay? The lady from Labour, she gave the best view on what is needed from the side of Labour. More jobs means more stability, means less unemployment, which leads to less crime. And that is a fact. Yes, are the government to blame for the lack of investment in our country, which caused the doors of some companies to close, leading to the increase of crime? For example, the closing of our textile industry in the Western Cape, leaving a lot of mothers, grandmothers unemployed, leading to their families not having money. This is now the clothing industry. Go back to my video on Ibrahim Rasool. You'll know what I'm talking about. Will it be then said that it's hateful? Yes, there is an element of hate in these crimes. Why does somebody have to go the extra mile to dismember somebody's body? Look at what happened to poor Anine Boysen in Bredasdorp. It's horrible. Okay? Young colored girl being brutally murdered, tortured, and I don't know what else by young colored men. And it was said during the time of sentencing that there is a big element of hate that was involved. We're not saying there's no hate. There is a lot of hate. We're not saying there's no brutality. There is a lot of brutality. I agree unreservedly, without any buts. There is a lot of hate. But take away the term genocide. Okay? That is my view. And I hope that we can build further our relationship with the United States from here. They are not going to agree on everything, but at least they got to sit down and talk. That's the most important thing. Give me your views. Have a good day. Bye-bye.